Well, welcome to the Good Talk Podcast, where we remind you of the joy of life, the love of God, and the possibilities that lie ahead. Pete and Jordyn here.
Hello, week 3 of relationship goals.
I love this series.
I know. It's fun. I don't know if it's fun for everybody, but it's been fun for us.
It is fun for us. And you guys are in for a huge treat today.
Yeah.
We knew going into this we wanted to interview another couple.
Yep.
And just kind of like...
Their
really
experience.
More anything. Yeah, learn from them. Learn from
Yeah.
their experience. Learn from their relationship. Every relationship's so unique. We love going out with other couples, don't we? And
Yes.
just asking questions about their relationship
Yeah.
and learning from them. Well, we're super lucky because we are going to get to sit down with Lee and Sara Brice.
Mm-hmm.
Lee is a country music freaking superstar.
Yeah.
And
To say the least.
and his wife Sarah's amazing.
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to know them now for several years.
Yeah.
And I just think the world of them, and I can't wait for y'all to meet them.
Yeah, I've actually never had the pleasure of meeting them in person. Sarah and I talk on Instagram a little bit, but they're just so fun, and
they're
I'm
awesome.
really excited to talk to them. In case you don't know Lee Brice, you probably actually do. You're just if that's not ringing a bell, he has had 8 number 1 singles.
That's 8 times he's hit number 1.
8 times. If we could play, we can't play music on podcasts that we're not licensed to. So I would totally jam out right now because his music is incredible. He has I Don't Dance, which you love.
I love that. I don't dance.
And you don't sing. And I Drive Your Truck.
I drive your truck.
Oh, God.
I love that.
This was not
I'm not
rehearsed.
kidding you. When I heard that song for the first time, I cried.
I know.
It's amazing.
It's
and he wrote that.
painfully-
He writes a lot of his number 1
Yeah,
hits.
he does. One of Them Girls, which is out right now. I
it's a
love
great
it.
song.
Hard to Love. Anyways, he's incredible.
I'm hard to love, that one.
Yeah, that one. I'm so sorry, Lee. He's also, like you just said, a songwriter. He wrote one of your favorite all-time songs that's sung by Garth Brooks.
Which one?
More Than a Memory.
Oh my gosh. That's my
So-
favorite all-time Garth Brooks song.
good.
More Than a Memory.
So good. Gives you all the feels. He's written for Tim McGraw, Jason
Yeah.
Aldean, Kenny Chesney, Blake
All of
Shelton.
them.
Yeah. I mean, he's a humongous deal. So we are super excited. Oh my gosh. I read this stat the other day when I was just reading kind of some of his bio. 2.2 billion streams online. Billion with a B.
Unbelievable.
3.2 billion Pandora plays.
I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know
420
anybody-
million views on YouTube. I mean, anyway.
That's crazy.
He's huge.
And listen, you are going to love his wife, Sarah, just as much.
Yeah, I know.
She's amazing. Sarah she's got one of the biggest hearts of anybody I've ever met. If you follow her on Instagram, she's an amazing cook.
Yeah.
She is an incredible mom, and she herself has
kiddos.
started songwriting.
Yeah, it's so good.
She sent us some songs the other night that she's just recently finished. And
Killing
they're
it.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's almost unfair that you have 2 people as talented and as good looking as
I
they
know.
are, like as a power couple.
They're awesome. And you and Lee kind of, you all 3 have a great friendship. But I remember the story you told me about how Lee, one of the songs on one of his albums was actually inspired by one of the books you wrote, What Keeps You Up at Night.
Yep.
There was a People magazine interview that I pulled up actually this morning. It says the idea is based on a book written by our pastor and friend, Mr. Pete Wilson, where he asks what keeps you up at night.
Lee got me in People magazine.
Got you
Let's
in
go.
People magazine. So no, I think that's
Yeah.
really cool. We have a guitar that hangs on our wall that he
Yep.
signed. So they mean a lot to you, and I can't wait to get to meet them too.
Yeah, you guys are going to love them. We're getting ready to head out to their farm in just a few minutes and sit down with them. So I know you guys are going to love this conversation with Lee and Sara Brice. All right. So, Lee and Sara, thank you guys so much for opening up your cottage to us and having us here.
Out on the farm.
Yeah. So, we have a couple quick questions to kind of get us started. These are easy. Hopefully, they're easy. Who said I love you first?
Wow.
Do you remember?
Probably me.
I don't, but I think it was probably him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's more of the, probably like guarded and protective, and I'm like, just get it all out there. So if I'm not
Heart on
trying to
your sleeve.
A
remember.
little more emotional.
Yeah. Well, let's say emotional. In certain
Communicator
ways.
of
Yeah.
emotions.
Yeah. I love
That's
that.
how we say it too.
Yep.
Who's more of a morning person?
Me, for sure.
Her, unless I'm hunting.
It's so.
And then it's
Yes,
completely different.
right. It's,
That's the only thing I get my boys out of bed for. Hunting, and they're up at, before
Whatever.
the sun comes up.
what time are you up normally?
Like 6, but sometimes I get up around 5:30.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that's lately.
But
It
that's
used to be
because the
like
kids
7.
get up at
It's
7. It
just-
gives her
yeah.
a full hour and a
Yeah.
half to like do a little
A
walk.
couple
or
months ago,
It's your only
I
moment of
have
peace,
to fight
really.
for time for
Yeah, oh.
myself, or I'm gonna go crazy. So I started getting up early and
I'm sure.
walking and reading and stuff.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Who apologizes first after a fight?
That would be me.
Is it because it's usually your fault? Or?
That's true.
I don't know. It's not because it's my fault. I'm like, I'm sorry this even happened. Like
Yeah.
any of this. Like,
And you disagree? You think you go first?
That's not true.
oh, Sarah. You literally get mad at me for saying I'm sorry. Stop saying you're sorry.
We're never invited back here, by the way.
I love it.
No, if she's done something like
Yeah, I'm
worthy
quick to say.
of apologizing for, which she doesn't really do very much,
Yeah.
then she'll. Sometimes it might be the next day.
Yeah, I apologize.
I mean, now I'll tell you this: her that distance has gotten a lot shorter over the years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a lot quicker now to.
Yep.
But I think the
I'm
person
like-
that's wrong is usually quicker to apologize. So maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Could be.
Maybe
Could
that's
be.
why I think I did it because I'm like the one doing something.
I love
This
it.
is good. Who's the most romantic?
He is hands down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
give an example of something he's done or you've done romantically.
You came in completely stark naked,
That's a great picture.
playing the
people.
guitar for me.
Stop! Was this like this morning?
No, this is. I mean, he's
No,
a trip. I was taking a bath and he came in and he sat next to me playing the guitar. I was like,
I love it.
well,
That's amazing.
I grew up a sap. I was writing songs when I was 10.
True.
And I was serious about them, about my kindergarten girlfriend. And I'm like, I haven't seen you in so many. I mean, I've always been that, And then
the sweetest.
it's just kind of been me.
Aw, did you have
Becomes
your
from-
heart broken all through middle school and high school?
Well, kinda, but it wasn't like broken like I was with somebody and they broke my heart. It was like I was
Yeah.
always like so shy. I didn't really go for it. I'd have like a crush or this true thing, and I was like, I really think that I would never go there. So it was like in my mind, I was being heartbroken because
Yeah.
I never got the shot at it
Yes.
or whatever.
Oh.
But really, it was just me kind of not having any game and like completely being shy.
I love that. All right. Who's the better dancer?
Oh, her. She's a dancer.
Well,
Are
there
you
go.
really?
I used to ballroom dance.
Oh
so,
my
like, I have a
gosh.
rhythm.
Salsa,
can't-
like
Salsa and merengue and cha-cha and all that. But you dance. You
I
drink,
don't
you
dance, baby. You can't say that. I don't dance.
You have a
don't
few
dance.
stage
If he
moves
gets a
that,
couple
like-
drinks in him, though, he dances.
Yeah.
I think there was a song that you might
I
have
did the MC
sang.
Hammer in the 5th grade at the dance, and that's all I did on stage.
Good.
And I was like, okay, I need to never ever do
Do that again. Yeah. I
Did
can't
you try and
dance
teach
at all.
him for like your first dance for the wedding?
No, we didn't prep anything for our wedding.
Yeah.
And not at all. Did we?
I mean, I don't dance.
Well, yeah, he wrote the song.
Yeah.
And
He
we
didn't
played
dance,
it.
But we literally never rehearsed or practiced
No,
anything.
we didn't do that. We just
I was not.
danced.
I just wasn't that person that cared about colors or,
Yeah.
do you want the little bows in the back of this? I was like, I don't, it doesn't
Same.
matter. Like,
Yeah.
none of that really mattered
Same.
much to me.
It's good.
First
good.
dance,
That's really
yeah.
good.
Who's more stubborn?
Huh?
Who's more stubborn?
You are.
Okay.
We're both a little stubborn
Yeah.
in different ways.
Yeah.
Different ways.
It
Yeah.
just depends on, I guess, stubborn about what is the question.
Yep. We're the
You
same
know?
way.
She's
If you have something specific,
Yeah.
you can probably get a little more detailed.
I won't go there.
For
It's
sure.
okay. I'll keep it.
I think I know the answer to this one, but who shops more?
I don't shop. I just,
Online?
I
How
just,
about online?
No, I would just buy. Like
Right.
if I want a pair of boots or something, I don't shop. I just go, there it is, Danner boots, buy 'em.
Yep.
Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But believe it or not, he actually has more clothes and stuff than I do, but because he has to.
Right, sure.
So he has.
She does. She's not like.
I'm not a shopper.
She does not. She likes. She'll go and like buy. Like go to Target and get to. She's always at the store, but it's not. She's not like a girl to like. I'm going shopping with my girlfriends today. It's not her thing.
Yeah.
No.
You
You
know?
know, Jana, my friend Jana, came into my closet one day and said, she goes, where are all your clothes?
Yeah, she's-
What
do
do
you
you
keep your
have in
clothes?
your? I was like, I don't like shopping.
Where'd
Like,
you put them?
Where do you get all the stuff you wear? I was like, this is it. I just kind of make it all work. You know?
Aw, that's
Not a
good though.
stupid
It's a
person.
good quality.
Love it.
Who's the funny one?
Oh, yeah.
she's pretty funny.
You're both funny. That's
I don't feel like I'm funny at all.
Unintentionally funny though. Like I'm not trying. Like you're funny. Like you're entertaining. People love to listen to you talk.
That's probably because it just sounds redneck. But like, I don't think I'm funny. People are like, "You're so funny." I'm like, I'm not a jokester. I'm not funny. But they're like, "That's funny." I'm like,
See, that alone. Who's the social butterfly?
you mean like
More of the extrovert, one that wants to be around people.
I'm definitely not that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're both a little introverted.
Yeah.
But I feel
Yeah.
like I'm a little more. But he's people are. I
Absolutely.
think he's just drowned out from
Totally.
people because it's a
Yeah.
part of what he has to do
But
all
I
the
mean,
time,
even as
but-
a kid, I was like I said, I was shy. And even when
Shy,
it was
yeah.
like college and there was parties or something going on, if I was there, I was in the corner just chilling,
Right.
just watching, or in a bar,
yeah.
And then if I started to have a drink or something like that, or a few, then I kind of turned into like the life of the party. But like without that, like, I'm just really truly at heart, I'm an introvert. And then on top of that, like she said, I'm doing that all the time. So it's like
so burned out.
the last thing I want to do is go hang out at a crowded bar
Yeah.
or something,
Yeah.
or
So-
go to a party or go to a big dinner. Like
Yeah.
I just, I
Wanna
do
chill at
if I
home.
have to. I'd rather just be at home. Kids.
I love that.
Yeah.
That makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last
So
one.
Probably me, I guess. to
You?
answer that.
Who requires more attention? I don't like that. It feels very negative. But who, like, in the relationship, like, where you feel like I've got to really pour into this person to feel like, make them
Probably
feel
me.
loved.
I don't know. I feel like I'm like the needy one.
Do you know your love languages? Like, what
think
makes
I
you feel love? So it can be physical touch, words of affirmation.
I'm probably like a little bit of both of that.
Yeah.
I need that, but I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's not her thing as
Yeah.
much. But like in her love language is like she likes to take care, like to cook food.
I'm very
or, like,
nurturing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
Acts
that
of
kind of
service.
thing,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
So if I don't, I walk in the door and she's not running up to me, give me a big hug, and go, "Oh my God, I miss you." It's
Yeah.
like, I'm like,
Yeah.
But she's got a
she's
meal.
like, "But I'm over here cooking for you. I
Yeah.
mean, can you just,
Yeah.
The
And
house
I'm like,
is
I get
blowing
it.
up and the kids, and he's like waiting for me to like run to him like the movies, And I'm like, you haven't been home the last 8 hours. Like,
You find courses made here.
crazy.
You don't meet him at
Don't
the
need
bottom
me
step
right
of the
now.
two
Like,
of
I'm
us every
No.
time. No.
No.
Run and jump into your arms.
That's your last one, right?
Yeah, that's my last one. Those were just fun ones.
Yeah, it's fun. So I've heard this story. It's been a while though. How did you guys meet?
On the beach.
It was on the beach. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You had a
Yeah, I
guitar,
was-
right?
Well, I was a staffer at a Christian camp for a lot of years, and at the end of the summer every year, after the kids, the season was over,
Yeah.
we would have a retreat for all the staffers, and there was no money, but they had this little place we'd go at Myrtle Beach, and we'd hang out, and so anyway, we were kind of on that, and myself and two of my best friends, Mark and Nick. Nick, who I'm producing a record on right now, like we're
That's
still,
awesome.
and Mark ended up marrying us. He was the camp director and Evangelist's son. We're walking on the beach one night, like, looking for girls, but it's like raining. It's like I'm like, this is just not. There's nobody on the beach but us, And then she comes walking by, and I mean it was dark, and she had a big sweatshirt on, But like, I could see, it's like, all right, she turns around, I'm gonna go talk to her, So we have two versions of the story, two perspectives for sure. Because I'm like,
Sure.
and then I'm like, oh, she turned around, I'm gone, boys. So I go, and then she goes and plops down to me. I sit beside her, and I'm thinking, this is awesome. Then I see her, like, really moonlight. She takes her hair back. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I need some more. So I got to run off, get my guitar. And I'm like, and I'm telling you this story. I come back, and I play, and I'm thinking, oh, man. And then I'm like, walk her back to her place and give her, I didn't even give you a kiss
You
on the
didn't,
cheek.
no.
I mean, I like, just, like, oh, it's so great. And then she tells the story. She's like, yeah. And you're like, who's this guy following me? And then, like, I sit down, and she's like,
That's not
And
true.
I ran out
but
to get my
was.
guitar, and she's like, I thought he was going to get an axe.
No,
You know?
that's not true. But I was tiny, you know. I was like 18 or so, you know.
Yeah.
I weighed all of like 100, and these 3 huge guys come walking by, and it's getting dark.
And it's dark.
And I'm on the beach alone
Yes.
at night. Which why was I on the beach alone? You know, I look back, I'm like, I really was not. It was not a safe thing to do. So yeah, when you pass, God, it's just you just
She
tend to
turned
look back
around
and
to
just
make sure. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
they're
she
not
turned
following
around.
you.
up on you.
Yeah.
I thought she was checking
And
you
then when
out.
I saw him
She was
turn
just
around and look
afraid.
at me, I did sit down just so I wasn't like caught off guard, if you know.
Yeah.
And then he started talking to me, and he had this very strong Southern drawl. I could not honestly understand half of what he was saying.
I lost all my Southern drawl when I came to Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I kept saying,
Wow.
"Well, that guitar." I'm like, "The what?" The guitar, and then he ran and got it. And there was a moment in that 20 minutes. He ran
I had to
hard,
haul like a mile. To
And you
get
just
my
sat
guitar.
there on the
I'm
beach.
waiting, and I'm thinking, "Am I crazy? Like, is
He's
this guy
gonna bring
come
back
and,
a
like,
posse
you
of
know,
guys,
You
yeah.
start to kind of get paranoid." And then it was like this little pea
It was
running
my
on
axe.
the beach with a
With a guitar.
And then I was like, oh. And then I thought, what if he's really bad and I have to sit here and
And
be
it's
like,
awkward.
Oh, you're great.
Yeah.
It's so awkward.
Well, I think you got lucky on that.
Yeah.
front. Yeah.
So,
Oh
it was
my
great.
gosh. And then you just were you on vacation at the beach? Is that
It was kind of a retreat vacation.
Okay.
Just kind of a
'Cause
vacation.
you were at
Yeah, we
camp.
were at the end of our summer. That was our little gift from,
yeah.
I'm going to take y'all, and y'all can go have just a week of just chilling. We play
love
volleyball during the day.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So y'all kept in touch and
We did but it was long distance.
Yeah.
You know, we had to call, like, cost money to call my mom's house, you know. So
Yes.
it was like, we kept in touch, but not very much. And
Yeah.
then- so years went by.
wow.
And then,
Yeah. But I went to go see her. Like, I was
Yeah.
in college and no money, and I'm like, I want to come see you. Can I just come see you? She's like, I'm in Ohio. You're in South Carolina. I'm like, I know. So I drove to Ohio.
Yeah.
Wow.
He called me halfway from a payphone, and he was like, "Hey," I didn't really think he was serious. You know?
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, I'm halfway there," and I was like,
Oh,
I'm
"I
in
tell
West
my dad
Virginia,
you're
yeah.
coming." You know, like my dad
Yeah.
might not
I'm like,
like
"You didn't
that
tell
this
your
random person's coming.
showing up at your
And so I
house.
told my dad, and he said, "No, tell him turn around and go back
Really?
to South Carolina." And I was like, "I can't really get a hold of him. I don't know how to tell him that." And so he ended up coming in. My dad
crazy.
loved him, but-
So,
Wow.
like fast forwarding, we'll fast forward past a lot of stuff here. I understand that, but
Yeah.
I mean, what an amazing journey. Three kids, right? 3 kids
Mm-hmm.
later.
Yeah.
Unbelievable career success, lots of stuff, right? What would you guys say has been the best part of the journey, and what's been like the most difficult part of this crazy ride that you guys have been on?
Well, I mean, the best part, children are like, the biggest joy of a whole lifetime to
Yeah.
me, you know. I know to you too, I mean, that's like, you just don't get any better than that,
Yeah.
even, and now, they're growing in different ages, and yeah, obviously there's moments like, gosh, he's really got an attitude, or whatever, we need to teach them, but, overall, that was that's just like the biggest joy of it all, I think
Yeah.
that, but then there's, struggles of all kinds. I mean, number one, just being on the road and gone so much,
Yeah.
learning each other,
Yeah.
you think you know each other perfectly when you get married, and then you find out you're really getting to know each other, and then you got, you start working through all that stuff. So, I mean,
You
there's,
can't chew chips around him.
yeah, I mean, yeah, right. Like,
I feel
wait,
ya.
I did
feel
not
ya.
sign up for
Things
this.
It was-
I knew beforehand.
Butterflies, and then you ate a cucumber,
Why
and
didn't you
it's
say
done.
anything before? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah, I agree. Just growing together, has been, it's been a blessing, but there's, challenges that make you grow, and then you look back and you realize that all of those tough times were worth it, and you're grateful for who you become because of them. So,
Yep.
yeah.
I would think that with the travel thing, like, because Lee, I've heard this from numerous people. People say you're one of the hardest working guys in country music. And I know what that means, probably on a lot of different levels, but one aspect of that means a lot of travel, a lot of concerts, a lot of having to be gone. And I know you love being at home, right?
right.
How do you guys approach, like, keeping your marriage, like, strong when you got to be gone? Because time and being present with each other is a big part of that. So how do you guys? Do you have a routine? Is there any secret to how you guys have been able to stay on the same page even when you're not together a lot?
I mean, we've had to literally figure things out and make a process. So at first I was like, well, I'm gone. So when I got home, I'd have to go to the studio. So I'm still not home, right? So first thing, I'd build a studio on the bus so that when I did get home, if I was only home for 2 days in a week, I could be at the house and just be there for, as much as I can. And little things like that, just specific. But then it was and at first we looked at it it sucks we have to schedule in our time together. But now we're you know what? That's what we have to do. I mean, that's a part of what. So it's taken us a long time to learn that, to go and be okay with that. This is life. We got 3 kids running around, but they all have different schedules, and we got all this stuff going on, and trying to, here we are in a really tough time, financially, and you're trying to figure all that out. So you got to I was I'm working 5 times as hard now, even though I'm kind of home. I'm home. Yeah. I'm not on the road, but I'm still working 5 times as hard, and I'm gone a lot. Even if I'm just down the street, I'm just not there,
Right.
And so it's tough too, but we have to make, and it's not much. It's not like we get a bunch, but the little bit we do have, even in her morning, I want her to have her time, but I try to spend a little bit of time with her in the morning before I have to run out the door, and then, or date nights, or little things like that. But you have to we do have to schedule in, but it's you got to schedule in soccer practice. You got to schedule in everything, and so it just took us a while to and we hadn't completely figured out. We're still need more, and we need more of everything. That we need more time with the kids. We need more time.
Yeah, I think at first it was hard, but it was hard mostly because I'd moved here and I didn't have family, and I was so used to having my family and my friends. So it was really the most challenging at the beginning before I kind of made my own network and circle of people.
Yeah.
But and then also I've always been pretty independent, so I feel like when he goes, it's kind of my time to really connect with the kids and get everything. It's almost like I kind of get back into my routine, and then he comes home. And so we've got a really good.
Yeah, I come home and she's like, "I'm glad you're home, but can you not mess?"
It was actually harder when he was home.
Yeah, can you not mess up everything I've got in order in my plan? And I get it.
Routine, and all of a sudden
I'm in there. She's like, "Well, wait,
I
gotta cook, but whatever." And now we spend time together, whatever. So I totally. It makes perfect sense, and so.
Yeah, it was honestly, and this is gonna sound crude, but it was actually harder sometimes when he. I loved it more when he was home, but it was harder when he was home.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of getting our groove down, with kids and each other, and so I guess I kind of don't have a choice. I know he has to go, so it was okay, I just have to make this work when he's away, and so I felt like I had that part handled. Yeah.
But then I came home, and it just wasn't like I was coming home for 2 weeks.
Right.
I'd be coming home for 2 days, or 1 day, or 4 days.
And
at
the kids
most.
are good, and then he comes home, and it's harder when he leaves.
It's because it's more like, well, you're coming home, but you're going to be gone in 48 hours, so
you're exhausted.
She's not going to dive in emotionally, because she's
right.
Then she's got to dive back out of it as soon as we're out the door.
Yeah.
Well, and the kids too, it's like I had them where they were good. You're gone, and they understand you're gone,
they had
and
the
you're
routine.
working, and it's what you have to do, and they're okay with it. We have these great kids that just get it. But then you come home and you're exhausted, so they're only getting a tiny little piece of you anyways. And then you leave again, and those couple days would be everything would flip upside down, and that's when it was really hard.
Yeah, starting over.
So I've tried to do better and figure out ways to not.
Yeah, he scheduled things in.
To not, because I totally got her, the whole deal. I mean, and so I was like, okay, what can I do to not throw her routine completely all out of whack? And
not to get too far off what we're talking about, but to give you an example, I know y'all talked about the toilet paper roll the other day, and I was like, yes, I get this because we're so different. You could probably say I'm OCD, and he is.
No, not probably.
He is so he was.
Not.
He's a lot better. Yeah. He was so messy, and he just didn't think about things that would make me crazy. Mostly because listen, you're gone, and I'm raising at the time 2 little boys to not leave a toilet seat up and to shut lights off and to pick up their clothes. And then you come home, and I'm like, you have to work with me. So it was really us just learning to work together, you know? Like, I'm like, you can't take me 5 steps back. You got to work. So we just, we were on the same page.
Yeah, that was a tough
But I
one.
really related to that toilet paper roll.
Good. Not alone.
I heard this story years ago. I don't know if it's actually true or not, but that you two, when they would be out on a long tour, before, when they get back into their hometown, they would actually go to a hotel where they'd almost kind of detox for a couple days.
Like, take a day to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, she's even mentioned that.
Before they walk in the door. And I would think, like, first of all, you're exhausted being on the road. But at the same time, too, everything kind of centers around you when you're out on the road, right? I mean, it's built around you. And you walk in the house, all of a sudden, it's not. You kind of fall.
Well, now instead of people doing something for me and helping me, I'm doing the stuff to try to help.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
That's so true.
I would just think switching gears like that, it has to be tough for both of you.
Yeah, I had to learn how to be, and so that's another thing. So, like, getting out on the road now, just really trying to rest every minute I can.
Yeah.
So that I don't come back exhausted, because she just, like you said, she just assumed I come here for the first day and just sleep.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I was going to be exhausted, she might, rather than just be there
and be laying on the because then I'm like, this is almost harder because now the kid, or whatever. But you're great. He's so great. Like, he comes home and yes, you got on the road, and I feel like everything revolves around you. You've got people, and they work for you, and they put you first in a way, right? Then you come home, and it's like he does kind of a lot of the times, like, he gets the least bit of my attention until it's just me and him.
Yeah.
And you're really patient, and he never puts pressure on. So.
But I mean, I like I said about the studio, so I'm out on the road, and so now it's like, it's not about extracurricular activities anymore, but it is about, I wake up in the morning, I got writers out, we write all day up until the show, do the show, meet and greets, do the show, get back on the bus, continue to write through the night, go to bed, wake up the next morning, write all day. So, like, that's it. And then you can just, we'll go on a family vacation, but we'll take the bus and just drive one night. You know what I mean? And, like, all we've done really is get on the bus at 9 o'clock at night and go to bed and wake up. And you get there and you're like,
I'm like, I am exhausted.
She's like, I'm exhausted from just being on the bus. I'm like, well, I've been gone try to do it for 2 weeks and work every day, all day.
And come home and be a dad. It's hard.
So it is,
And I've offered that before. I've been like, why don't you just go to the farm and sleep? But
I got a conscience. In my conscience, it's like mommy guilt. It's like daddy guilt. I'm like, no. I'm coming home. Like, I want, number one, I want to be, I want to see him.
Be there.
But that's why I was like, okay, if I'm not going to go take a day or take a minute and go sleep, then I need to figure out. So at least the night before I come home, I'll really try to get myself, even if I got writers out, I'll try to get to bed if I know what time I'm going to be home, try to sleep. But then, like I said, sleep on the bus, it don't really matter what you're doing. It's not like it's like
good
great sleep,
Yeah,
totally.
So sometimes I'll get home, and maybe we get home the bus does pull up at 7 or 8 in the morning. Maybe I'll just be like, well, I'm going to sleep till 10. I'm going to sleep till I at least feel like a human being, so that I can come home and not be a zombie,
That makes a lot of sense. It's good. So we have, like, a couple reoccurring arguments that we just find ourselves being drawn back to, like, again and again. Do you guys have, over the years, like, something that's just kind of a reoccurring
big or small,
argument that
anything?
Well, we've had some that we've worked on, and probably bigger things that fixed, but like smaller stuff would be like what she talked about. Like, we are so different when it comes to, like I'm about a seat of my pants, and I get it, and I mean we're just so different in like just about every way. Like, I'm gonna leave a light on because I'm thinking about the next song. I'm thinking about what I gotta go do, and I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm out the door. I don't sit around and like, what all do I need to take? I'll figure it out when I get there. You know what I mean? Like, she's the opposite of that. And then just organization, and like, I'm fine if my closet is like kind of, as long as I know where my stuff is, and she's not okay with it. And with my closet being that way, I'm like, but the door's closed. You don't have to look in there. But it's still in her mind, like, she's like, I know it. It's like a little monster back in that closet. You know what I mean? So,
Well, especially when you get it in order.
Yeah.
Like you take your own time to get it in order over and you know. And I'm like, my gosh, like can't you just put the shirt back? And I don't get it.
But I've been getting better.
He's
I
so much
really,
better.
yeah. I'm a different person.
Yeah.
I might say that. I mean, not like perfect or anything, but
Yeah.
a whole lot. Because she was right, you know, about like lights and this and that, and teaching the
Yeah.
habits, the
Yeah.
good habits,
Sure.
you know. And I'm like, okay, I need to get better at this because I do want them to grow up with the right habits.
Yeah.
If you
You know.
teach your kids how to turn off the lights, I need to know the secret.
Yeah.
'Cause I haven't been able to pull that one off yet.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think it's consistency though. That's why I get so frustrated.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, I do think because like as a kid, the way you talk about, I mean, he was always helping his mom and clean. But then you got on the road, and I think what happened was you were in and out of hotels, and people were kind of picking up and clean. So I think
Right.
you got a little bit used to
Yeah, I've
not
always.
having to be so.
Yeah, I mean, when I was never like. I mean, you know. Now I will say, when I did clean my truck out, or I did clean my, it was like OC. I would make it immaculate. Mm-hmm. But then I'm the first one to be like. I mean, 5 minutes later, you know, leave the Mountain Dew bottle in the front seat
Yeah,
on the floorboard. When really, you know, and it's so easy to just
The
pick
other
it up.
364 days of the year.
Right. That's yeah. I mean, that's and that is the truth. That is she's
Yeah.
right. She's not.
Yeah.
She's not. You know,
I'm one of those that,
exaggerating.
like, when I get out of my car,
every single time.
I'm like, kids get all the trash every time.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to smell fast food, you know. And I just said to Dakota the other day, I'm like, when you get a car, I will take it off of you. If you do, you have to learn. Like, I'm teaching you these things for a reason. You know, you don't want to be.
I mean,
a
she
sloppy.
specifically said, when you get a car, if it looks like your daddy's truck, I'm taking it away from you.
It's gone.
Your car's gone.
Don't do it,
That's,
Dad.
I did say that right in front of him,
And I'm like-
intentionally.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
that's my boy.
Well, don't walk out and look at it right this second.
Yeah.
Two of
and he
my
didn't say
boys.
a word because he's like, yeah, I get it.
Two of my boys can drive now and have cars, and their version of keeping their car clean is once every 2 months. Literally taking
Can you put your feet on the
a full-size trash
floorboard?
bag out to their car
Yeah.
and cleaning it out, and they'll fill up a trash bag.
That's what I mean, that was me.
Yeah.
And
It's so normal.
it's really kind of still me. Well, there is true. There is kind of there's a big medium. And like, so she's for sure at OCD, or there's a couple other things you could probably call it. It's, you know, obsessive, truly like, but I mean, in so many ways, it's the reason why when I walk in, our house is like, it's not just that it's like so clean because she's a clean freak, you know.
Yeah.
She's got it. I mean, everything, the candles and the food that
Yeah.
she's cooking, it feels so amazing. And I'm like, well, thank God, like, because it just restores your soul
Yeah.
just
You're
like
a
that.
good
You know, I walk
balance.
into, so I mean, and our kids, and she is teaching them, and they will grow up with better habits, you know, than I had, you know, and because it does help you. Like, anytime I do go, say, get something organized, I always feel so much better.
Yeah.
And that's all, there's this anxiety going off of me because
Yeah.
I got
interesting.
all of my clothes are in order. I know where everything is. So I'm like, well, if I could just live like this every day, it would probably take a lot of stress off my heart.
Yeah.
There's something to this.
But I'm also I am that whatever brained, and
Yeah.
I'm just going, and I got to get the next thing, and I'm working hard, and then I'm artistic, want to write a song, and
Yeah.
so
So
I
you
am
are.
quick to
Totally.
run out of a room, and I'll get it, you know, later.
Yep.
And I come home and go to
Later.
sleep, and then I leave again, and then I keep you know what I
It
mean?
piles up. I get it. What role has faith played in y'all's marriage?
Well,
Everywhere.
yeah, a ton, you know. I mean, and it started out kind of, you know, we were figuring out kind of some things as far as, like, well, I say faith, but more like church, you know, because she
Yeah.
came from a Catholic background, right? And I came from a Southern Baptist background. And so that's completely different.
Yeah,
So
totally.
at first we literally would kind of go, and one Sunday we would go and take the kids, and because there's a big pieces of that like that whole thing that is really special, and special to her and special to me, and I could see all the reverence and
Yeah.
and those services, and then we would go over here, we'd go to, you know, Crosspoint or go wherever, you know,
Yeah.
and so we would kind of swap it, and then but the more it wasn't about church, I mean, it is about church, but it's more about God and
Yeah,
faith
absolutely.
and a relationship as we growing, and
Yeah.
and she's growing, and I'm growing, and it's
I
changed.
think too, as I look back, church as I knew it for me, I look back now, it was just tradition. It was just what I was
Yeah.
brought up to know. So it was the stained glass and the incense, and it was teaching our children to sit in a pew and to sit still, which kids don't really do anymore. So there was this big part of that that I learned that I wanted them to learn. But truthfully, I never really got much from it. And there was a point when I realized through our marriage and through him, really, he taught me a lot, and through you, which we should talk about at some point. But you played a huge role in our marriage and just me like growing and learning. But I grew up with a very conditional love. I don't mean that wrongly, but it was just there was conditions. I never really understood that there is an unconditional love that has no conditions on it, and so that was a big part of us kind of growing together and finding a church that worked for both of us, and that started to really, like, I left and it actually moved me, and I actually couldn't wait to go back and learn more and grow more, and so,
That's really cool.
that makes sense.
That's cool. You think it brought the two of you closer, that journey, being on that journey together?
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for faith, I mean, who knows where we'd be, you know what I mean? With the problems of any marriage, of any relationship, for that matter, friendship or whatever, if you're not, sort of from the same yoke a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you're not gonna, there's this glue, you know what I mean, that happens whenever you really start to make that the forefront of everything, and obviously life is still coming at you a million miles an hour, but when you try your best to put that as the most
sort of
important
bonded
thing,
through your story and through your struggles together.
Absolutely.
because sometimes the only answer, there is no, like, you might be trying to find some logical answer, and it's not. It's got to be just faith and trust, and in your faith and in each other, in God, and like, okay, well, there's got to be a reason for this,
Yeah.
And forgiveness.
'Cause we
is a
and-
big, is a
yeah.
big
Oh my gosh,
part
yeah.
where
Oh,
God
yeah.
worked in my heart, and that's really where you had given a sermon one time, but it was all about forgiveness, and so that was sort of a defining moment in our marriage and in my life.
So I think every marriage has those moments, those key moments where it's kind of a make or break kind of thing, and your hope and desire is that it brings you actually closer together. You've had some of those challenging moments that brought you closer together, I would assume.
We have, we've had several of them.
bunch
but-
of them,
The one that comes to mind specifically for me, where I feel like I look back and I know, like 100% that God was working in my heart and my life was, in our marriage was, we had Joe Leathers speak at the wedding. Kyle played piano, and then Philip Lammons helped me get a guitar for him. And so I was trying to figure out what I can gift them. I thought, let me just get them something that, we'll all have, and it'll just be this thing that we look back on, and it reminds us of this moment. And so I got these signs made. There's these big wooden signs you hang on the wall.
like barnwood,
Yeah. And I had them printed, "Be still and know that I am God." Gave them to everybody. We each had one. We hung them up, and this is after our wedding. But there was a couple things that happened that were they were challenging. It was early on still, and we were just working through stuff. And I was really struggling this one specific day. But it was a very fragile moment for me. And I remember I was thinking, I don't know if I could do this. I was praying, and I was really kind of channeling God, going give me a sign, and not one of those signs that I have to question, really hit me in the face with it so I know, and I'm not thinking that I'm in the wrong spot or that I might, And I looked up, and so I had our sign hung above our bed, but I looked up and it said, "Be still and know that I am God." And I'm chills head to toe, and I'm looking at it thinking, am I losing it? That has been up there for 3 years. How did I not ever see that?
I mean, it was a typo with the dude who burned it in there.
Yeah.
Never noticed
Right?
it. And so
At
I
the whole
called
time,
Lee.
it's at our front door. I mean, it's
Well, at the time it was above our bed. Now it's at our front
above
door.
our bed. At the time, you know what I mean. So
That's crazy.
So I call Lee, and I'm like, "Hey, that sign, the one above her." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What does it say?" And so I said,
You
"It's
still know that
not
I'm not."
misspelled." He goes, "No." And I said, "Well, I'm going to send you a photo of it." And so I sent him a photo of it, and we're both completely confused. We're like, this doesn't make sense. How would we not have seen that? So I called Joe Leathers, who is salt of the earth. He spoke at our wedding.
Huge
He's
faith. I
One of my
mean-
favorite people in the world.
in fact, our verse, me and Kyle and Joe, that's a verse that we wrote a song that McGraw put out as a single
Still.
called Still.
Yeah.
And it's straight from that verse. I mean, so we had a little bond there. You know, I mean, so they know the
so
verse.
special.
Like, I mean, it's very, very, very.
So I called Joe and I'm like, Joe, I'm like, listen, that sign we gave you, I'm like, where is it in your house? He goes, oh, it's right on our cross wall. And I said, is it misprinted? He goes, no. I said, are you sure? Because we've looked at ours for like 3 years now and it's misprinted. Are you positive? He said, no, we look at it. He has 6 kids, or is it 6 kids?
5 kids.
5 kids. He goes, we look at it all he said, trust me when I said ours is not misprinted. I'm like, okay. But we had them printed all at the same time. So I'm thinking, how couldn't they be misprinted? So anyways, then I called Kyle and I said, hey, Kyle, that sign. He goes, yeah, Kelly and I have it, hanging on this wall. I said, is yours misprinted? He goes, no. I said, would you just go look at it for me? Like, because in my mind, I'm freaking out, And so I hear him walk around the corner and he goes, whoa. So Kyle's is misprinted. He goes, how did we never see that? He's like, it's like God's really reminding us, to really know and know. He's really reinforcing the trust. And
Wow.
so in the meantime, I get a text message from Joe. And so Joe looked at his, and his is misprinted. None of us ever noticed it, right? Well, then I call Philip Lamons, the guy I had just mentioned earlier before the podcast, and I just said he's just so wise. And just listen to him talk forever.
South Carolina man, just old school Southern,
I just want to soak up his energy. I called Philip. I said, Philip, because I said, hey, that sign we printed for the wedding, I said, would you just go look at it? He said, why? I said, well, I'm just trying to figure out if it's misprinted. He said, yeah, it is. I like it like that. So he knew, right? He was the only one.
Yep.
He said,
I thought y'all meant to do
goes,
that.
I'm not giving it back. He said, I love it like
I like the emphasis.
I love that.
Isn't that crazy?
Be still and know.
wild.
And
know.
So, but we still have it above our door, and every time I look at
So
it, it's like,
cool.
God's just going, but you really need to know. Like, you can't. Don't question
He can
it.
show
There's a
you
reason
something
you're where you
you
are,
think you've seen, you think you know.
Yeah.
but you gotta
He's like,
really
no,
know.
it's been there the whole. It's here. I mean, it's nuts.
That's
it's,
profound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hearing it like that, it just, there's certain things you've heard phrases or verses so many times that they kind of lose their meaning, and that just kind of drills that home. That
Right.
I mean, of all the
Yeah.
ways it could have been misprinted,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
it was misprinted like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I love it.
So.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and the guy who prints them for us is a good friend of ours too. And I remember calling him, and he was like, "I just can't. I can't make sense of how it that did. He was like, I'm so sorry. I'll return them. I'm like, no, we love them. We're keeping them.
That's really cool.
And
That's
so
really cool.
yeah,
So you guys been married almost 8 years.
almost.
Coming up.
We have been married almost a year, right?
When did we get married?
In May.
Dun, dun,
In
dun.
4/21/13.
So we're still considered newlyweds. What advice would you have for newlyweds? Now you're 8 years into it.
I mean, we've been talking a lot. You can take a lot from, one thing I've learned recently, I think we both have, but for me, big time, is I've learned, I knew, like even things like she talked about, when I was a kid, my parents were like this or that, or, I had this stuff and I went through this stuff, and I'm like, okay, yeah. But like I never, until recently, I mean, I knew like the gist of a lot of things, and I just, but I didn't realize the depths of that. We're digging in deeper and like, truly diving into the person's heart and history and past and present and listening, like true listening. Like I would tell her, she'd be like, "You're not listening," and I'm like, "But I'm listening. I'm hearing. I hear you. You don't have to say it 1,000 times, but you're not." I'm like, "But I am. But I really. I mean, I was in my mind. I was listening, but I wasn't hearing certain things that she was trying to say. So I mean." Trying to open
take
up
on what I'm feeling. Like, I
Yeah.
don't just want you
Yeah,
to
yeah.
hear me. I want you to like
To know me.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like until you open up get yourself out of completely take yourself out of the equation for a minute. Or logic, or, well, I got to go to work. Like, why are I got to do this. Why can't you just get up, all that, take it out the window and just really listen and try to truly see it from their perspective, and not just their perspective, but maybe why they're feeling that way. Not just like, okay, you're feeling that way. What can I do to help? It's not just that. Like, it's so much more than that. And so truly listening and like, however I'm trying to describe that to deeper than just listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Taking yourself out of that equation, I think really has taught me a lot and helped me to try to start, you know, truly meeting her where she needs to be met. You know what I mean?
Love that.
That's good.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
I think too it's so important, and I always say this, but my grandma used to always say it's so important to have your thing. He has his thing, and then you have your thing together.
That's really
you know,
good.
and I really do believe
I always
in that.
loved that when she says
Yeah,
that.
I think that
Because
it's
it is
really
true.
Oh,
We're not the same person,
Yeah.
but we do have everything together. And it's okay that we're different.
Yep.
You know, it's okay.
Yeah, I remember her saying, if everything has to be together, then it's really not a marriage. It's a codependency, and that's not healthy, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So,
Preach.
you know, it's so important to have your,
Yeah, I
your
go
things
hunt.
that you do, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
She goes and does whatever you get a spa, go to get a massage. I go
Yeah.
hunt. Like there's,
Yeah.
you got our things.
Yeah.
You know, we
Yeah.
don't. I don't
I remember
have to
one
go to
time I was like,
massage
I'm
with her.
sorry that I'm
You know?
not that girl. You know, we have friends and their wives hunt, and I like look at these pictures and I'm like, that they look so cool. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not one of those
not
wives.
me. I'm
that,
like, baby, I
you know,
promise you
suits
it's
up.
fine.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Totally
good.
fine. Me and Randy and everybody out here talking the boys and
Yeah.
whatever, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's so true.
Yeah. That's a really
What-
good.
what-
That's good
grandmama said.
advice. We you
Yeah.
need to be reminded of that.
I'm like
for
you.
sure.
I'm not in the hunting office either.
No, she's not down with it. And I'm okay with it.
He's okay with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am down with the fact that she's not down with it.
Yeah.
Bye.
That's awesome. Well, you guys, you're an amazing couple. You really are, and you've been a lot to me. And you've always just been so encouraging and kind and generous. And
Thank you.
I'm grateful that somehow on that beach you guys ran into each other, even if you did come
man.
across as a stalker.
I know, right?
I'm-
Oh, she looked back. Yeah, I was looking back because I was like making sure you weren't chasing
I
me.
In the
love
dark.
No, I'm glad you guys, somehow got brought the two of you together, and
yeah.
you got 3 beautiful kids now, and it's
Thank
gonna be
you.
fun to just see what the years ahead hold for y'all.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's like I feel like sometimes we're just getting started with like, not saying it's just getting good, but like it's like, wow, it's already been this good, and I can see like this whole other picture that's even bigger and more beautiful every day. You know what I mean? And and it's exciting for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like something to look forward to it's like the tomorrow is something to look forward to. You know, with me. You know.
It's like you guys are songwriters or something. You
Yeah,
very in
exactly.
touch with your emotions.
Yeah.
I love
Hey,
it.
he's a songwriter too.
I
heard that
have a
story.
songwriting credit, but I am not a songwriter. That's why I so regret putting your guitar up on my wall, because everybody that comes in the house like, oh, you play? I'm like, no, I don't. I don't. No, it's really bad. Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for
your
having
time.
us. This is
Oh my
awesome.
gosh, you guys are
Great.
such a joy.
Y'all needed it in
Happy
every.
Valentine's
Yeah.
Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you guys.
That's right.
This was a good talk.
That's
Good
good.
time. Thanks, guys.
It's awesome.